start getting up. Takes me a minute.
Let's stand for the pledge. Neil.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks everyone for coming out tonight. Linda, would you lead us in roll call?
Eddie? Here. Sarah?
Here.
Neil?
Here.
Chris?
Here.
Hank? All
Here.
present.
We already did the pledge. And I'll open it up for public comment. Each person has 5 minutes to speak. You're welcome to speak again after the 5 minutes. Just make sure that everyone has had a chance to speak. And I'll keeping time on my phone here. Any comment? Michelle?
Michelle Whiteman, a Valentine resident. I've asked this is the third meeting I've asked in regards to rescinding of local laws number 4, 5, and 6, what you plan on doing in regards to the improper and illegal placement of the present town barn, town garage. It's now, again, back into a zoning as an ag district, and I still have a major concern about that. I'm wondering if you're going to do anything about that. This is the third time I've asked. Thank
So
you.
just so we're clear, it's zoned as an agricultural district, but the town barn is grandfathered in, so we have no problem there. If you have any questions about that, please reach out to the county planning board, get a letter from them about the concerns, submit it to us, and we're happy to address it. Any other comments? Skip?
I'm glad that you are considering the moratorium on the placement of solar farms, solely because you'll get some regulations as to where they can be put. How far from a highway, how far from your house or yours or somebody else's, and there is none now. And the sooner you get it, the better you're off.
Thank you, Skip. Any other comments? Paul? Paul, I was so sorry to hear about Linda.
She's getting better.
Okay, good.
She's a tough one.
I know that.
Okay. Paul Spencer, Town of Valentine. I got 3 different things here I want to address tonight. I'll start off with last month's meeting. There was a mention by a resident as to how much money there is in the town clerk's office at one particular time. I have an idea on this. I don't see why that resident should know how much money is in that town office anytime. And secondly, I don't know why it should be advertised all over a group of maybe 40 or 50 people. I think those things should be kept quiet and they should not be advertised. I think it was actually in poor taste that the person did this. Number 2, I'm going back again. We are now in 2016. Let's try to stay in 2016. We've heard this 82 people at a meeting at a DA night over and over. There's ways that probably that could be accomplished. There's a little bit of a brief discussion with the judge last month. I think it was scheduling, intelligent scheduling could eliminate some of the problems. We don't seem to want to do anything to alleviate the problem. My point is, we now have a board that is intelligent, is willing to work with the people, and we can get things done. Let's start living in 2016. Number 3 on my list here. Planning board. Last month, it was an attempt to stalemate the appointment of Nancy Claiborne and Pam McKenzie. Those 2 people, I feel, are more than qualified, in my own thoughts, to be on the planning board. As far as a vested interest or the conflict of interest or anything, there is none. The planning board has absolutely no connection with the town council. We have a member of our own town council was also a member of the county planning board. I don't feel she has the qualifications to be on that planning board, even though she is. She also has an agenda to be on that planning board. These two people that got put off till this meeting definitely do not have an agenda. The woman that I'm referring to demonstrated her agenda at the goings-on in November, when fraudulent papers were submitted with her name on them. So I would like the board to carefully reconsider Nancy Claiborne and Pam McKenzie to be a part of the planning board. And again, it's so hard to have to sit here and listen to somebody when they are performing a fraud. And with that, I'm going to leave everything else up to the planning board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Any other comments from the public? Right, we need the motion to close public comment.
I'll make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Moving on to reports. Artie.
Gonna be short and sweet because, there's been much going on as far as the weather anyways. We plowed a couple times and sanded a few times, but other than that, the weather's been real favorable for cutting brush and trees. We got a real good head start on that. It's real easy to do, it's not full of leaves. We've also been doing some ditching and replacing culverts. Currently working on the new broom, used broom I bought to fit the front of the loader. And we chipped a couple times with Rod in the village. He had one day where he had a bunch of brush a resident had out to the curbside. And it's easier to help him give him a hand chipping up and throw it on his truck. And the second day, during that big windstorm, a tree come down on Failing Hill, took down the power lines. So after National Grid got the power lines, everything eventually went down. A couple days later, helped to clean that up. That's all I got. If you guys got some questions.
Great. Did the guys get the employee questionnaire? Okay, any back? Yeah, we just asked them to get that to us. And then, once those are in, we'll schedule actually, I think tonight we should just schedule the training, right? Also, I wanted to make sure you saw the, proposed procurement
Yeah, I
policy.
read over it.
Any
It
issues?
seems about what it's always been.
Yeah.
It looks as though you may have added the piggyback thing, because I don't know if that was in it before or not, but it looks good.
Yeah,
as
it
far
makes,
as I can see.
it gives you a little more flexibility to spend without,
Right.
but not too much.
Right, right, no,
So-
everything's
Yeah.
the way it's been for a long time.
Yeah,
Oh, it
okay,
looked
great.
good to me.
Just clarifies.
I didn't see nothing.
Great.
Of course, I'm not a lawyer and always stuff worded, but it looked all right to me.
I just copied it from another town, so it's not. All right, so if you're good with it, then we'll
Yeah, I would say.
move ahead with.
Are you anticipating anything this spring because of the non-freezing weather we've had as far as heaves or muddy areas?
No, the roads look good as of right now. You know, who's to say farmers and big equipment this spring might do something, but, you know what I'm saying? As of right now, the roads seem to be holding up pretty good.
That's all, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
because we
And
didn't-
I'm actually kind of amazed because we had such a weird winter, little freeze, little hot, you know,
Right.
pretty bad, so. No, the roads look pretty decent.
Okay, good.
And they're expecting bad weather tonight, so.
I have one question, Art. How much salt do we keep on hand at the barn up there?
We can store
You know, what would you say, just a...
about 80 ton.
Okay, okay. And how much would you estimate is there at this time?
About 80 ton.
About 80 ton, okay. Okay, I'm just
And we
curious.
haven't bought all we have to buy for this year.
Okay, we need to buy more.
Yeah.
Could you please explain why we buy more?
In April every year, I'm asked to guess how much we're gonna need for the following winter. For the last 5 or 6 years, I've said 700 ton.
Okay.
We're obligated to buy 70% of that,
Okay,
and we're able to go to 150%
if we need to.
if we need to without a price increase.
Oh, okay, all right, that's,
We're very close to our 70%. We're in a lot better shape than a lot of towns are. There's a
okay.
lot of big municipalities that are way below what their closure quote is. I think we may only have to buy 1 or 2 truckloads, and if
So
we
you-
do, we have until September to buy that.
Oh,
So
okay, so you
we
feel
can
we're
buy
in
it,
good
mix
shape
it with
then.
our sand. I can just cut back 100 ton in this year's order, you know what I'm saying? So-
Okay, I'm just curious,
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, we saw salt coming up every month,
Yeah.
kind of like,
on the billings here.
yeah, it's just.
Oh, yeah, this year,
That's why I asked the
we're
question.
at February, at the beginning of February, we were almost 200 ton less than we were last year at the same point in time.
God bless for that,
Yeah.
I'll say.
Not a
Yeah,
lot of
we had a
money,
lot of
though.
ice.
Yeah, I
February,
know, I understand.
And, you know, and that used a little more salt up, so.
I didn't realize we had a contractual obligation that, so we were maintaining the price.
Right.
That I didn't understand.
Every,
Okay.
to be on the OGS, purchase contract, we have to give them a number in April.
Okay, I
And
see.
Like I say, for the last 6 or 7 years, it's been 700 ton.
Okay, well, that's up to you, you know,
Yeah.
that's what you do, that's your field of
Right.
expertise.
No,
I was
but-
just asking
And then,
why,
you know, I've used 900 or 700 because it's got a lot of flexibility. They go from 490 to 1,000 ton. All in price. You see what I'm saying?
I see.
If I
That's
guess
fine.
slow, if you guess slow and you go over, once you hit that
then it
150%,
costs. But,
the
okay.
price is, sky's the
Understood.
limit on their price.
Understood, then. Thank you very much.
That, we do the same thing on like hot patch or anything else, like, or do you just hot patch when you need, and you, or cold patch, whatever you think?
We just buy that small.
Okay.
Okay.
That's,
No, I just.
no, thank you, Art.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you, talking about this. I understand what we're talking about, why I was seeing it all appearing. When I know our consumption is way down, I realize this is how
We're
our business.
Yeah, salt.
Stabilized price, of course.
I mean,
Oh,
we're pretty fortunate. Barn is real close, so we can get it.
yes, yeah,
We
that's
don't have to store a lot of it. So.
right.
But we do know. We do.
Thank you very much, Ed.
You know, because you live in a village,
Oh.
we use pure salt
Thank-
villages, so that's where majority of our salt
I
is
appreciate
in
it.
villages.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate your explanation.
I got it.
Understand.
You get some, okay,
Perfect.
that's all you guys, going home in case we,
Schedule that.
bad weather.
Let you know, thank you. We'll schedule training
Sounds good.
about it.
Alright, just one-
Say 4 o'clock.
Are you gonna, when you, how, when you get patched, where you do it? We got a couple parking lots, like, just wondering, if we need, you get patched, the holes in the.
Well, next time we-
Here,
Yeah.
okay, if, when, that would be, we can.
Oh, yeah, we,
If you have actually, rather than.
yeah,
Really helps.
see, the thing is,
You know, if you-
we don't patch often because, well, don't need it, this is, it's very often, county roads, that's our roads, potholes, very often. You know,
Okay.
they're full, people don't realize township, the roads are town, a lot of people are county, isn't it town? And then half is, well, how do I know if it's a half of a town? And I said, rough, it's a county, and somebody said, it's a county or
Yeah.
if it's right. Well, that's a joke, but seriously, I mean, we do, that's a couple pockets down Wagner's Hollow, that's about the only ones we've got. Owls, and, that's all. I mean, the roads are bumpy,
Oh, yeah, very
wait
good.
for the weather before we
Not
can.
really even that one.
But, yeah.
But thanks,
Yeah,
because
we-
we got some like on the
Yeah,
other
the-
side here, and it's like, it's our own, this we count.
Well, the
other
worst thing is when you can't put coal patch in a hole that's only this, you know, you gotta have something for it to hold deep.
Right,
Okay.
You
if you just put it on top, it flies right.
It's gonna flake right back off.
Right.
I have a question on that patching. When you do this, I guess there's some kind of adhesive or that they put in there to help it adhere. That I believe the village of Nelliston is using this Randy Con that up there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you already do this, I don't know.
Now, we just clean the hole off real good and
Oh,
leaf blower, we
okay,
put it in.
okay,
Like I say, if you're trying to put coal patch in a hole that's only half an inch thick, it's not trying to stay there.
okay.
You know, a
You
three,
just
two
do
or
the best
3
you
inch
can,
hole.
that's all.
Right.
That's all we can
Good
do,
shit.
all we can ask for.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, Artie.
Yep.
All right, Cheryl.
All right, last month I had one dog pick up. I issued 4 10-day notices for non-renewal of license. I had reports of 4 dogs found, 3 of which were reunited with their owners. And I issued 4 parent tickets, 3 for no license and 1 for dog running at life.
Thanks. Thanks for helping find Rosie. Again. Any questions for Cheryl?
Yeah, one thing. Cheryl, I know you had talked, when we talked that, is the usual policy to take a sheriff with you, or is that,
Only to that place.
Okay, it's up to your discretion, which I would fully support.
No, that was
Anytime-
told to me by the board years ago.
Okay, no, I just want you to
I think I
understand,
told you that.
as far as I'm concerned, I don't know about the rest of the board, but I think if you feel there may be a threatening nature there or whatever, possible confrontation, I certainly would support your right to bring an officer with you.
I always do when I go there. I've
That
never,
was the right thing to do.
yeah.
Whatever you think you should do for your own safety, please.
Yep,
Was this 1337?
yes,
Yes.
Do you think the health officer should get involved?
I do. Personally, I
If
do.
you're gonna get a hold of Dr. Brody?
That's close.
Doc Riley? Is that
Mark
who it is?
Brody. Mark
No, it's
Brody.
not Dr. Riley
Oh,
anymore, I don't
yeah.
believe.
Dr. Brody, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brody.
Brody,
That's a good thought, I never thought about that.
yeah.
If they're not gonna let
So
us
you
in,
go.
they're not gonna let him in.
We'll take, you guys get the sheriff to go with you too.
They want to, they
Or
can.
Cheryl, all of you go.
I could tell from the outside, I'm not going in that place.
I mean, as long as the sheriff has it on their radar, maybe follow up with the sheriff one more time, just to let them know you're
Do
concerned.
you have a phone number for that Mark Brody? 'Cause I'll call him myself.
You might be, is he in the county directory?
I don't know.
I never used them.
Should be in there, is that in
I don't have him in my phone book. Will you get the number to Cheryl?
Thank goodness. That's all I have.
Thank you, thank you. You did the right thing there. Leanne?
Nothing really going on in my office, just getting all the exemption forms in. We didn't have too many that missed out. I did hold a day with the Amish back in, towards the end of February. We're going to schedule better next year. Middle of February is a little late. We normally do it in November, but, my contact person got a little by the wayside with stuff, and so, but, we're gonna try to schedule more than that. I'm also going to be getting in touch with some of the local representatives that send out the notices for Enhanced Star. We're going to try to get something together coordinated so that they don't send them out so late, because now they send them out in late January, early February. People kind of throw it on the table. By the time they call, they only have a very short time to move. So I contacted them earlier this year, and once the roles and stuff get finalized, we're gonna try to set up something to do with them. We've also set up with the 3 or 4 local attorneys, we're going to get them, I'm gonna get them packets. Started doing it with St. John's, I'm gonna do it here too. With STAR applications and a letter that says what they need, when they need it by, where it needs to go. Because they're filling out STAR exemptions at their attorney's office when they close, and the attorney is sending it in, and I'm not getting anything else. And when I request it, they go, "We already filed, we did it with the attorney." It's like, yeah, but I need this, 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 and this. So I've talked to the attorney's office just to see if it would be something we could do to make it easier for people. They said that would be great, and so I'm gonna set it up. So they just have like a packet of envelopes, and anybody that they close on, they'll just give them one and say, you know, file it. Here's the information you need. I do need, a couple of months ago, I gave the board a thing about the appraisal for Dutchtown Plaza. I don't know where we're at with either one of the lawsuits. I haven't talked to Greg in a while. But I do need approval in case we need to have the appraisal done, so we can do it. We can hire somebody to do it. I believe the lawsuit is scheduled for June.
Okay.
So it's kind of, you know, I don't want to wait till,
Do you need the proposal tonight,
if
the
I
approval
can,
tonight?
if we
Okay.
can, yes.
And do you remember the dollar amount?
I know, but Neil's got it.
I think I had it.
I think
I think I gave it in, I don't even know, I'm sorry. I think, this is March, right? I think it was January.
Yeah.
It's, just, I mean, there may be a way we may be able to talk through it, I just don't know. And I haven't heard anything with where the Kansas hearing one is
Okay.
recently, so I think we're scheduled though on April 16th, if I'm not mistaken.
My understanding from last time is that we're trying to settle it.
Okay.
Great. Anything else?
Not unless anybody's got any questions. If anybody's got anybody from the board or anybody has any other ways to, you know, get the information out there to people. I'm trying to reach as many different outlets as I can. I don't have the ability to get people's birth dates or who's turning 65 or who's a veteran. I've already talked to the Veterans Office because I wanted to see if there was a way we could double check their list to our list to see who's not getting the exemptions they're entitled to, but that's not information that I'm entitled to. So that's why I figured, since I think it's Paul Ponko's office sends out postcards, I figured his office was the you know, if I could start with him and work it out to different ones. You know, if I could even just get him to send them out a little bit, that'd be great. But like I said, I'm gonna try. They said they seemed very willing to work with me, so I'm gonna try.
Unfortunately, it's only registered voters probably, so.
I don't know. Because a lot of I don't actually know, because they do seem to do some real mass mailings.
Okay.
Like I said, I just figured that the easier we can make it for people, the better.
Yep, great, thank you. Any questions about the opt-out, the opt-out language? Are we covered with that for now?
I believe so. I did send Neil. Neil got me a copy of the Florida paperwork. I think I gave all my concerns with that. The opt-out, the county is looking to do that also.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what the school district stand on it at this
Okay.
point.
But would the county cover, so if the county does it, the towns wouldn't need to?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Sandy's gonna get me all the information, but she was out yesterday.
Okay.
So.
Okay,
It should be made clear that what we're talking about is opting out of the tax benefit for solar, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
The only other thing, I'm sorry, I did say I was done, I'm sorry. The other thing that there's an issue with is when, I know that the company out of Arizona did mass mailings to all the farmers. When you take your land out of agricultural and convert it, there is a penalty. That's the main thing I want people to know. If they want to choose to do it, that's great. Make sure when you're getting your pay and your contract, make sure that is opt out or that conversion penalty is included.
5 years?
It's really strangely worded, but it appears that it's a certain amount of years times for however many years you benefited, and plus a 6% penalty. Sandy was trying to put it in because it's an awful legal.
Now, so, Leanne, just to clarify, because I've had a number of calls. They have a 200-acre farm, they put higher 20 acres in. That converts the entire property at that particular point, correct?
No, just the 20 acres.
Just the 20 acres, which, okay, they were asking, so just that 20-acre piece, and okay.
That is, it appears to be, like I said,
Okay.
Sandy gave me.
And it's for that usage times that period of time plus a penalty.
Correct.
Is it correct? I've had some people ask me, is it 5 years retro? Did they go back and
Wait.
move the ag exempt or?
The way Sandy explained it is, when you have an ag exemption, when you sign up and you're in an ag district, you have to keep it agricultural, living it for 5 years. And you can stop using it as agricultural, but you can't, you have to, in 5 years, change in, and you can't do anything, you can't with it to a casino. In that 5 years after that.
Oh, I got it.
You know what it's like?
Because
Because I
the
thought
5 year period where after you are in.
then you have to have a 5 year period after you stop getting your benefits of the exemption before you convert it with any sort of penalty.
Okay.
Outside of it, it's to take you so moving.
Okay. It's
Like I said, there's
Very-
many different
It's see,
parts
so
of
they
it, right? And
should see you if they're
Sandy-
serious. They should see you.
Right, I'll get a hold of space and we'll do it on a by personal analysis to get the exact number, the exact amount, everything
Okay, 'cause
for each
have-
individual.
Next week. Okay, owner. Several farmers were signed contract. Either the hours are light or with you.
Right.
And there, I see, a lot of thinking to this.
Yeah.
This is not even. There's a lot of moving parts. Just that's not this issue. Involved us at this point.
Right.
That's the tax.
Without, right, a lot.
Okay.
And
Thank
like I
you.
said, with it having like a lot of to do an experience case, Andy, it's just easier one on a case by the farm with single owners know, on one with the proper specific to the parcel and be able to get it that's specific to their best way. That would, to me, is just the best way to handle it. I'm done.
Thank you.
Now, sorry.
Leanne? Other questions?
Meyer,
Okay. Cliff?
some of the report in front of our things from CC here, closed up and project either last year before and just finished them right past winter and just been to know or they later than in late months. 2000 winter code update was really 10 to 2 good in 16 years. State thought it was good. Got my instructor get from the test certificate and Justin that turned anything. They on my course that's a good. They have passed the merge. They knew it went not past council yet. The last week it went to the whoever the book committee is. Okay, they never published it, so the Republican went back to the council committee. Problem with supposedly the rough draft was to the count and the merging in its code. They're supposed to this month. So still looking at getting new books in July. We're still, and of course, getting in that week June record with this on what we do being on the enforcement administration data we can do here for free. And our book. New business, one in the village. There's two the old ambulances, building one where the John Funds CC transmission. He purchased that there, but he'll be moving his garage from McKinley down to that corner. And his down a paper handed to me tonight for the old lumber store was a price shop, right? Old lumber, yes, it's fine. From good at Napa moving in there. They meet with good the next week for the removal paperwork. But Napa's going then moving in there. Final. And that's it.
Great.
Must think of something like that, and then I'll keep on talking.
Cliff, are the new rules changing the, so the installation requirements?
As right now, we're only going on 2,010 books until we get the new books, unless it's a bulletin, and we still have to go by 2010. If
Okay.
they can change it at that time, once we get the book out, then it's in place.
Okay.
Thank you, Cliff.
Hurry up and get done.
Thank you. Linda?
Okay, since the taxes, I've taken in $1,947,462.86. It's about the same as what it is normal years. It's slowed down the first 2 weeks of this month, but it's gonna be pushing really bad next week. I will be here on Thursday, because it is the last day of the taxes that they can come in and pay for them in person. Number 2, primary, there's gonna be a primary here, April 19th. Dorothy was in here today. She said, this place looks disgusting. There's garbage all over the floor in the bathroom. There's mud all over the floor. She would like to know if someone could get somebody in here to clean the offices before primary. Okay? Another one is my mileage. Since January, I've been getting the mail on a daily basis. It's 1.4 miles to go from here. I can't get the mail till after 10:30 because it's not sorted. 1.4 miles from here to the post office and back. When I go to the bank, it's 2.1 miles. I lease my vehicle, I go by mileage. I spoke to the president of the Town Clerks Association as to what I was able to get, and she said I should be able to claim my mileage for anything that has to do with my job, is going to the bank and going and getting mail. She also said that I died, and my phone bill is going up because I had to go to a smartphone, and because it's a smartphone, they upped my bill. So I would like a portion of my phone bill paid by the town because I have to be on call as being a registrar. The funeral homes need to get a hold of me. They are on a very tight timeline. When a person passes away, they have to file within a certain amount of time. And that's why they have to call me. I just got called last Friday to come down and do a death certificate. I got called again on Sunday to come down and do a death certificate. Okay, that's all other ones. And Sarah, when you get these, would you please give them to me, please? I found these in the garbage in your office when I put Leonard's paperwork on your chair. These go to the, people that are in the retirement system. These are their newsletters that they do need. I usually give them out when I get them. I used to get them. And I
just
used
get
to
one
open
copy.
it. Huh?
I get one copy.
Well, this was in your garbage. When I picked up Leonard's stuff, I turned around and they were in the garbage, so I picked them up. I'm gonna give them to the, retirement guys. Okay, another thing is, last pay period, Dorothy came to me. She said she got paid too much. She asked me to look into it. I looked into it. She brought me an old pay stub.
You
She
should
brought me
have
her new pay stub.
Dorothy call me.
Huh?
Have Dorothy call me.
Well, I gave it, she asked me to give it to Kelly, so I gave it to Kelly,
Great.
okay? Can somebody explain to me how she can go from $8.75 an hour to $12 an hour? That's a 37% pay increase. And I was told that it was, at this meeting, that it was supposed to be a 0.74% pay increase across the board. I don't know what Dorothy made. I feel that going from $8.75 to $12 an hour, when I'm still liable, she's my deputy. If money comes up short, I'm the one that's liable. I just want to know how you how can you explain the 37% pay increase?
She's on the county legislature.
No, she's my deputy clerk.
I was trying to be funny, I'm sorry.
I just, $8.75 to $12 an hour, that's a 30% pay increase.
If she has a problem, just have her talk to me.
No, I have a problem. I want to
I
know
understand your problem.
how this can be.
Does that complete your report?
No, it doesn't.
May I say something?
No.
All right, another one. A letter of resignation from Aaron Rourke. I'm still waiting on that. I don't have Aaron Rourke's letter of resignation. Also, the town board is supposed to vote on accepting the resignations of the prior planning board prior to appointing new members to the board, which hasn't been done. The last one is Steve. He came in looking for his check. I told him I didn't know where
Have
it was.
Steve call me. It's all worked out.
It's all worked out.
Yep.
Well, I called the attorney. He said Steve no longer works here. Is that correct?
Linda, this has nothing to do with you or your clerk's report.
Well, I think it does. I think it does because I was told that the board voted on his resignation. Is that true?
Linda, we can't comment on anything that has to do with personnel or that met in the executive session.
Do you
So,
have anything else to conclude?
Yes, I
in your
do.
report?
Yes, I do.
do you have a written?
Yes, I do
Is this
have
report
something.
written? Because I'd really like to see this.
A what?
We have written copies of all the other reports. Do you have a written clerk's report?
I don't have to have a written report.
Well, okay, but it seems like what happens in the minutes versus what happens verbally are two different things. That's just my assessment, but
It does.
yes.
All
Why
right.
don't you complete your report?
I'm going on with my report.
Okay.
If a decision, and I have this out of the town law manual, summary minutes must be made, this is of executive session. Summary minutes must be made of any final determination taken by a vote, including the date and the vote thereof. However, such summary should not include any matter which is not required to be made public under the Freedom of Information Law. Such summary minutes shall be available to the public within 1 week of the date of the executive session. If a vote was taken in an executive session, there is to be minutes, and the minutes are supposed to be made public, and I'm supposed to have a copy of these minutes.
Not if it's of matters that are not public, such as personnel matters.
It-
We don't have to argue about this here. Does this
fine.
conclude your report?
Yes, it concludes my report.
Okay. So Eddie Watt will not be here tonight to present his report. I have nothing to remark on outside of the business that we're conducting tonight. Do we have any other council member remarks?
I'll let anybody go first. I got a couple.
I have nothing at this time.
Nothing.
Betty, you got anything?
Just that I wanted to accept the resignations on the people that had submitted their
Okay.
That's a good idea.
resignation.
Good idea.
Great, okay. Do you want to make that motion now?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept the resignations from the people that are resigned from the planning board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Any other council member?
I got a couple.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, communications policy, we had that last month. I needed to add a total cost in there, and I sent everyone a copy of it. Are there anything that needs to be amended, changed, or remarks to that? I know you gave me some input about that it's only those employees that have access to a computer at their job. I mean, not everyone's getting an email either, a town email, especially
Yeah.
at the cost, but, and then, was there anything we need to add?
I didn't get a copy of,
I sent it to the email.
and I'm not getting those.
Well, okay, we'll have to figure that out, because that's part of the that's part of the communications policy, because everyone that has an email needs to access it and needs to respond to it, so we're gonna,
When I try to go on, it goes to some other site.
we'll get you the appropriate training. If you'd like to meet with any one of us or someone else, we'll make sure you have the training, because we're all accessing it, and we sent emails, and Greg sent us emails that I'm sure you'd like to access.
I resent you an invite. I've sent you an invite now 3 times.
And I haven't gotten it. I get what.
You
mailed
did,
it.
because you just said you tried to log in. So you did
This
get
was
the
a while
invite.
ago. I tried to log in and it goes to some historical site or whatever. Tracing some routes or something like that.
Maybe you're typing something wrong because we're getting in. But it's imperative with our new communications policy,
Okay.
because that's part of keeping from being Article 78 again. So I'll have that ready for next month, and we'll be ready for that. Just to catch everybody up, I had a phone conference with Scott Barton and Clement MacGyver, and we have some issues. I did get the mileage trips, a document back from them stating where they went on the mileage. But we're over $3,000 over the allotted resolution budget, and there's no addendum, and there's no vote. There was no votes on that to approve that extra $3,000. I can't find any record of it. I have no addendum from Barton saying that they're agreeing to this, and so we're kind of like,
Right. Can you, would you, and I could do this too, we need to check in with Kelly what the total expenditures on that contract were.
right. I know that they were paid the 21,000, which is what was agreed, and this is overage. And there's like over $800 on bid books, over the $1,000 bid book project manual bidding services line items that they had. So, and then there's an additional bill from Race Printing to print these books, and then for Lee Publications, so they were printed by 2 different printers twice, and it's way over. It's okay. So we need to. I'm just telling you that it can't be resolved yet until we get additional information.
Okay, great.
And I did get additional bids to move the ramp so we can have the bench in the front being ADA compliant, and to put in a window with 1/2-inch plexiglass that would stop most attackers here instead of a door. And I have those bids when we're ready to move forward, but we're missing the piece of knowing about Judge Dybert's security issues
Yeah.
through here, so,
So let's schedule a follow-up meeting with Judge Dygert.
okay.
Can I ask you a question, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
On that window, you said plexiglass.
1/2-inch plexiglass, yes. it
Is that
has-
gonna be for my window?
That would be for your window.
Is it gonna be lockable?
It would be solid with a slot underneath, because it's, to stop, it can even stop some firearms and some intrusion. You'd have a slot, and you'd have a thing to speak through, holes that you
Yeah,
speak
yeah,
through.
but
so.
I mean, is it, shouldn't it be?
It's solid, so no
Well, you
one
know,
can.
it's not, it's not the solid I'm worried about. I'm worried about, like, right now, I can lock my window.
This would be solid, so it wouldn't slide. It would be a solid piece of.
But there's no way to, get the little thing closed then?
Sure,
either,
we can
the
get it,
open.
we can get a slide on the bottom if you
That's
were
what
about-
I'm
yeah,
wondering,
so-
something
so-
to close
yeah.
it off
But
entirely.
it's way more secure than the window.
Yeah,
Okay,
oh,
because they can break the
definitely.
window.
I agree with you,
And they're not
100%
gonna
there.
break a half-inch piece of plexiglass.
And we'll take care of all those specifics. as
Right,
part of the-
but I'm just saying.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that it would be shut.
No, your safety is
shuttable.
paramount because, yeah, we gotta deal with it, okay? And,
How does the 24, sorry, that's the 31st?
Day of the week?
It would just be for Chris and I
Okay.
with Judge Dygert.
that's Friday, right?
That's a Thursday.
Oh,
I
it's a
think he's
Thursday.
away.
He's away for.
Is he away?
Yeah, he's away for, I think, 11 days.
All right, we'll do it by email.
Okay,
We'll schedule it.
we'll schedule it and we can do it, but.
Okay, and we
Okay,
need to do that quickly because it's about the grant that needs to, he needs to get
right,
his
because
grant
we can
proposal.
recover all that, plus, we've got prices out for video security and for other security, so there would be a
Great,
video security here and a security system.
yeah,
Wireless security system to report back, okay?
yeah, and he can report back on those security recommendations.
Right, but I just, before we go through all the motions, and,
Because they'll pay for anything they recommend, basically.
okay, well, that's great.
I mean, if we propose it.
Okay. That's it for me.
Great, thank you.
I do have
Yep, go ahead.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I know we talked a little briefly about a postage meter. I kind of did a little investigation on that. 49-cent stamp would cost us 48.5 cents. Then there's the rental fees. We'd have to rent the piece of equipment. I guess Pitney Bowes is most common, anywhere from $25 to $50 per monthly. There's reset fees of $5 to $10 per month. Then ink, $15 to $20 a month. And scale cost, $5 to $10 a month. I just don't see where it goes depending on volume too, but and the return charges if you turn the piece of equipment back in, and it just, I don't know,
What are you
doesn't
saying
look good
here,
to
we're
me.
buying stamps?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
my belief, but
It would make sense certain months of the year and if everybody used it, but in other months of the year.
there's a ton of fees I never realized were there.
Seems like the cell phone people got.
Yeah, I think that might be the case.
Thanks for looking into that.
You're welcome.
Any other council comments? Okay, great. So at the top is the motion to appoint the vacant seats. This is the first time I'm seeing these two planning board proposals. One just came in yesterday.
Quick question, did we have a drop dead date or a stop date on accepting those proposals or no?
We did, but then we extended it
To now?
to now, yes, basically. So, one proposal came in from Art Sky. Art, are you still here? Yep, hello. Who I just met and had a chance to talk to Jim. Is your hat still in the ring after that conversation? Great, thank you for applying. And then Janie Dygart. I'm absolutely open to considering Art Sky. I've literally just met him and talked to him for 4 minutes right before this meeting. Jim, also, you guys had a chance to speak, but you have his application in front of you. I think Art is a very valid candidate. I definitely have concerns about Janie Dygert for several reasons. So to me, we have in front of us three very competent, skillful, and dedicated people. Pam McKenzie, Nancy Claiborne, and Art Sky, who are willing to.
Madam
serve.
Supervisor, I would just like to point out, I was doing some research on the town planning board appointments,
Mm-hmm.
and that it would probably behoove us at this point, especially with Linda being infirm for a little bit, and with Mark Crotchmeyer that he has that 60-day that he has to travel, that we name 2 members and an alternate at this point. And I think that would make sure we don't run into the quorum issues we did this summer. Plus, it would allow us to make sure we have a full contingent and bring everyone, some new blood up to speed and do what we need to do. And that is an acceptable practice according to Chapter 7 in the Association of Towns to do that.
Fantastic.
We may want to entertain one of these new candidates, Vice Linda, because she's probably gonna be laid up for some time based on her injury.
Okay.
We love her and we want her. We just say we don't want to rush her to come
Yeah.
back.
So, I would make the motion that, well, we can discuss, but I would make the motion then to appoint, Nancy Claiborne and, Art Sky to the vacant planning board positions, as well as to appoint Pam McKenzie as an alternate for a period of 5 years.
Second.
Chris, can
All
I
in
make a
favor?
comment?
Oh, any discussion, sorry.
I just want to make a comment. Linda's wheelchair won't get in this building.
Well, that's good to know. Okay.
Any
All right.
discussion? Any discussion on that?
I think it would be a good idea to have an alternate, seeing we are at times faced with absenteeism due to no fault of the member. And gee, I just think we should have an extra person available should the need arise. And I think I'll support the motion. We need to get our planning board up and running.
Neil, I agree with you because at this particular point, knowing that we have all new blood of the planning board and knowing that I do know for a fact that Mark will be out. He travels the globe every once in a while doing things, and although they can meet via Skype or we could teleconference or whatever, it's Jim had a hard time in the summertime getting a quorum, isn't that correct, Jim? So this would alleviate that fact. So I think it's a perfect solution that makes it happen. So.
Great. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any abstains?
I didn't get who seconded the motion.
I did.
And
I made the motion.
you said, yeah, I got that. But you said for 5 years. Was that just for Pam for 5 years on the alternate? We gotta go with Nancy and Art. We have to put,
They're filling vacancies.
they're filling vacancies, so go
Yeah.
with the way that we have it. We had it for like 16, 17, 18, and go on with that.
Yeah.
Any one preference to which goes first?
Nope.
Okay.
Flip a coin.
Thank you.
I have
Welcome
two,
to the planning board and thank you for putting in your application and being willing to serve.
I have 2 related motions on the next one.
Okay. Linda, just to close out this one, Linda, would you send the comprehensive plan to all the members of the planning board? All 5?
I have to get more than a comprehensive plan. I have to get a
Okay.
whole book
Okay.
for all of them, yeah.
Great.
And I wanted to, if you can wait until after next week, I can get, because Jim gave me his book, I can go through Jim's book and just make new copies for everybody on there.
Okay.
Comprehensive plan, all the local laws, all the, anything that has to do with
Great.
it,
Perfect.
for everybody.
Yep, yep.
And maybe, Betty, are you familiar with the town of Florida rules, since you folks helped draft them on the county planning board? The solar farm rules?
Well, I have them, but I'm not that familiar with them.
Okay. I'm just wondering if you could
Yeah.
explain them to the new planning board.
Well, we could
Okay,
just
well,
refer it, and
Neil
maybe Bill
sent-
Moore can come out
Okay,
and do a
Bill,
presentation.
I'm sure Bill.
Different times I've spoken with Bill Rohr and Amanda both down there in the office, and they both expressed that they would be more than willing to come up here to Town of Palestine if asked to assist with
You want me to ask them?
anything that was needed. I just want to relay that on forward. When I was over at the college for that seminar, I had spoken to Mr. Rohr afterward, and I believe Hank did too, and he assured us that all we had to do was basically ask.
I'll ask them tomorrow.
Well, let's ask them to present to the planning board, not.
Yes,
Right,
yes,
to
the
the
planning
planning
board, yes.
So they have to, once they get themselves together. So, great, okay, so that covers the planning board issue. We need to talk about the Board of Ethics.
Okay, I intend upcoming to make two related motions. One is because the ethics law may be a little controversial as it's written now. From my point of view, I'd like to see some of the more draconian provisions taken out. Other people would probably like to see them kept. I intend to make a motion that we have a public hearing to discuss the ethics law because it's going to be a more complicated matter than some of us had probably thought. The second motion I'd like to make is to, under the current law, which is Town Law Number 2 of 2009, appoint appoint 3 people to the Ethics Board, and myself probably would become a member if we decide to revise the town law. The 3 people I'd like to appoint would be William Winsman.
Can I interrupt you? Sorry.
Sure.
I believe Virginia Venskake is still on.
Is she still on?
Yeah, she's gonna
Yes.
stay with us.
Yes,
Okay.
Virginia's still on, and she's in the middle of a term. So
Okay.
It's
So-
2 members.
So 2 people.
Yeah.
William Winsman and Michael Bosworth, who sought this position, were highly recommended by members of the community. So I don't know if there's to be any discussion on this. I'm sure the call for a public hearing would be welcomed by many because we can actually deuce out what the issues are concerned with this law. It's a very complicated thing. My own take is that we sort of, the ethics law as it's constituted now sort of drops the bomb on Luxembourg, and I can explain this all at a public hearing, probably in greater depth, but we have sort of awesome punitive powers given by an ethics board that's only appointed. It's not an elected board of the town. I think this is, even though lawyers drafted this, I think it's sort of overdone. So that's my own take, but maybe other people have a different take on it and would like to weigh in on this when we have the hearing. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I kind of agree with you. There's actually no provision. You could, this law, which is a good thing, I support strong ethical standards. I wish our state legislature would have the same ethical standards. But there is no mechanism that if a referral is made, it can be held up for an indefinite period of time and not even make it to the ethics board. And I'm aware of a case that just happened. So we need to have some changes in mechanisms in here.
So it sounds like there are two separate motions here.
Yeah.
One is to appoint the member, which is very straightforward. The second for the hearing, I think rather than just holding, well, first of all, a public hearing has a very legal definition. So I think if there were any proposed amendment to the law, then we would hold the public hearing related to the amendment.
So we would put the proposed amendment first, or publish them in some way, and make them
And then
available
do
to
the
the community and the board, and then see where we go from there.
Right.
Okay.
So perhaps tonight, what we could do is appoint the board, the ethics board members, and then at the next meeting, if you present the proposed amendments, we would amend the resolution
Good.
to hold a public hearing regarding the amendments.
Good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Is that good for everyone?
Well, you said that Greg suggested that we do that, but
Well,
we see suggesting that we amend.
Just,
Did he
Well,
say
these are
specific?
his latest suggestion, although he's thought about it for a few days and changed, latest suggestion is that we amend some law number 2 of 2009. So he's not agreed. My original concept, which sort of initially agreed to without talking about it, was we downgrade the town law to a town resolution. And he feels that we better be better off because we will interact with this on this and presenting it as a town law.
And
Okay.
you sent out a set of
You now all
annotated.
could have, although I just gave, you 3 times, I sent out a bad copy, realized it by the time I sent.
There's here, right. So
Betty-
good annotation.
The full-
They're
I sent these out, it was for a gold copy, had you guys, the day before, got my copy that said black page. That's due to my lack of attention.
Although,
to detail.
paid. Looks like you haven't quite the attention.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
just through this, yes.
Yes,
And it's
Well,
Brandon
thank
Kenny
you.
was the one that worked on.
it was a, And he said, yeah, so let's see, and great level over that too. And something, one of the complicated to me is you're loose on, and they'll make a,
So, do you make that
And which is it?
I make, we appoint
motion?
Winsman, the motion that when Michael, that we have a two William Ford and
I'll
Bosley to the ethics.
Any discussion?
second them.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion? Aye. Opposed? In favor? Any
Aye.
abstentions? Any opposed? Great. Abstention, okay.
We don't need motion after.
Be good.
Yeah, first one.
That would be,
You may
Yeah.
be
The next,
for
yeah.
the board.
That's,
I may
I
be
don't know.
partial.
Strike
I
it.
don't know if it-
Be part, so.
I'll be honest with it. I don't.
Not,
According to
like,
New York municipal law, to New York municipal law, even though it's signed off on, according to law number 2, a board they signed is the town required to be the ethics board member. A member.
yeah, that's one of the problems of our law is, doesn't go along with, yeah, any problems town basically, but it's a state. The other, but bring those amendments to the next meeting. Great, so you'll,
You actually have a draft now, what I would propose.
okay.
I'll have.
And we'll
Excellent.
just get in writing in the form of resolution. Okay. The next up, the town of Florida solar policy. Neil, would you guys want to introduce this one for us?
Yes, I'd like to put forward a resolution, the town board approval. Oh, gee, I'm sorry, excuse me, let me start over again. I would like to put forward a resolution to have our town planning board review and edit our town of Florida's solar policy, their recommendations, so that we will be able to adopt policy. Yeah.
Great. And just to clarify, so this is a motion to refer the town of Florida solar policy
Solar
to
policy.
the planning board for review.
For review, correct.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Great. Any discussion?
Just so, Skip, this is not a moratorium, but it's a set.
Should be.
Well, hold on, let me explain to you what it's a set of rules and regulations regarding solar farms that have things such as offsets, easements, and a number of other issues, height restrictions, those kind of things that you're looking for, that we, that were written by members of the county and adopted by the town of Florida, which seems to work because there was already a solar farm in the town of Florida, so they abided by all these, so.
Has there been any application approved at this point for a farm, not on a building?
No one has, to my knowledge, and to Cliff's not here, but I asked him, there has been no application made at this particular point by any entity to place a solar farm in the town. Now, of course, the village of Nelliston has one, but that's on the village property and that's their deal, okay?
If you're a private landowner, then you don't get the tax break. I mean, because that's, when the larger entity opts out, then they opt out for themselves and for any property owner. So that may find some resistance in individual property owners, but my understanding was, Neil, maybe you'll correct me on this, was that there was a sense in which the company, if they came in with a commercial farm, was able to take the tax break itself anyway.
I'm not really sure now.
I'm not really sure about that either.
You know, Leanne's still researching, of course, and I do think we need time to research all this, come up with
Yes.
the correct answer, so that there are no mistakes made, and so that any resident that would possibly even consider one of these farms on their property wouldn't per se be taken advantage of.
Exactly.
Because of lack of knowledge. And apparently Leanne is still working with this and still learning, so.
And the town of Nelliston does, the farm in the village does not apply anyway because they bought the land.
They purchased
So
the
they
land.
they became the landowner and the business entity. So it
Yes,
was
that's my
basically
understanding.
just
Well-
like putting up a building on their own lands.
Not to bring up carpetbaggers from like 1866 or anything like that, but apparently the salesman who presented this plan to the town of Nelliston now cannot be contacted. You know, he's off roaming somewhere else, you know, selling these things, you know, and it's like not very responsible on the part of the commercial solar people.
There was something recently in the paper about these solar companies not having to pay any taxes themselves.
Yep.
Okay. we're getting
So,
off track.
great, we now have a planning board in place that can really look into the nitty-gritty of all of this, make a recommendation. Their meetings are open to the public, and they also receive public comment. So I would recommend anybody who has strong opinions about the solar farm, recommendations, make sure to get them to the town planning board. As a matter of process, anything that the town planning board comes up with would be sent to the town board for review, and if it requires any change in local law, there's also a public hearing process for that. So, this is very much a process. It's not something that's gonna happen overnight. Moving on to the resolution. Was there no vote? Oh, thank you. Who made the motion?
You made, Neil made the motion, Betty seconded.
That is that.
Any more discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, thank you. Moving on to the resolution to adopt procurement procedure, because we don't have that resolution in front of us. This is actually from the last meeting.
There's one over there.
Is it up
If you don't
there?
have
Oh,
it.
great, then let's do it.
It's on this end here.
I'll grab one.
Okay, I'm just, it's not on, it's not on.
I didn't get the whole policy shut up, but I can move forward with it.
Does anybody else need one?
Is this different than the one, the first one?
No.
It's the updated one that I sent out.
Okay.
The month before the last meeting.
Thank you.
No, that, no, it's
I
updated.
tried to bring that up because I can keep my cool.
I think everybody reviewed it, but we wanted to make sure Artie, that's really more than anybody else, it applies to Artie. So we wanted to make sure he was okay with it. He is, so I think we're ready to go. Yep. This really just codifies existing procedure for the most part. It's something that most towns have in place. It updates our policy that we have in place. I'll make the motion to pass the Town of Palatine procurement code.
Resolution 51.
51?
Long time resident.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any,
Who seconded it? Hank, okay.
any abstentions? Great. We need the motion to approve the justice report.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And we need the motion to approve the abstract.
I'll make the motion to approve the abstracts.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great.
Sarah,
And then-
Neil has the video. Are we going to
Oh, right.
provide the video camera?
So, on the video camera,
Yes.
we would still, this is a, do you want to introduce it?
Yes, I'd like to put forward a resolution for the board approval to videotape all village, or all town board meetings. Tape will begin at the call to order and at the end, at the adjournment. I've been doing a little research here, but should we go ahead and proceed? Okay. I've been doing a little research here, considering these cameras, and it looks like the Panasonic one, model 580W, it would allow us to be able to point the camera at the board here, but also will take and put a picture-in-picture of the audience. So that way there, as I said, it would be a picture-in-a-picture. It'll allow us the ability to be able to put this onto the computer via YouTube, which if we put it, and just a link on our site, because as I understand, if we put it on the site, there's gonna be all kinds of storage fees and so forth. If it's put on YouTube, then it's gonna cost us nothing
For the link, right?
for the link. No storage fees, none of that. So, this camera that I'm looking at, complete with, it's, again, a Panasonic, comes with, the tripod, adapter. The only additional thing we'd wind up buying is cards all the time.
Memory
SD
cards.
memory cards, which we could keep as a record, in case there's a FOIA freedom of information, request at any time, and anyone, and this way here, everybody will be able to go on, get onto our site, go to the link, and there we go. Now, the only thing I see with the cost of this is sum total would be $419. Includes a case, the tripod, the camera, and miscellaneous things, to clean lenses and so forth, cords, a card reader. I don't know myself how to use any of this stuff, but maybe we can find an unpaid volunteer that would be willing to
Press the button.
press the button and get it out or put it away. But if need be, and we can't find anyone that's willing, I would be willing, unpaid of course, to come in, get so I can know how to use this thing and see that it's in place each and every meeting and it's stored away. As I said, I'm basically illiterate when it comes to this. Maybe I can get someone to assist me to show me how to put this onto YouTube. If so, I'd be willing to work with that. That way here, there's our transparency issue is pretty well taken care of, I believe, at that point.
About Debbie?
I'm sorry? Oh,
That's where mine
Yeah, but
goes
how
on
can-
YouTube's.
I'm sorry?
That's where my videos goes on
Okay.
YouTube.
Okay.
Well, if you want to volunteer.
So, well, let me
But-
just,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
so this is great. My concern was being able to both, that was mainly an operation issue of being able to both video the council and the public. It sounds like you've come up with a great solution. Now, in terms of storage, we could use YouTube, but we have a Gmail, an organizational Gmail account with basically unlimited storage.
Okay.
So it could go up to our organizational account, just like everything on our website is.
Mhm.
It could go up to the organizational account, be placed on the website. I've looked at what some of the other towns are doing. One thing that would be really wonderful for our residents is to live stream it.
I neglected to mention that.
Yeah.
Of course, again, I don't know how to make it live stream, but when I was talking with Cometa Camera, they're a firm in, here within New York State that specialize in camera photography equipment. They said it is capable of live stream.
Okay.
Something about, I believe they told me it would need a computer, and they were also informing me, I basically told them what our needs were as far as I wanted to be able to get both the board and the public as well. They said, well, this 580 Panasonic at a fairly reasonable price is the only one in that area. We can go thousands of dollars, which I'm definitely not for, but we could. And if this one at a figure of $419, of course, then what we would have to do is, this was on eBay is where I found this thing. I called these folks and talked to them today. I've got a reference number and everything. The only thing we'd have to do is submit for sales tax, so we don't have to handle that and discuss how we would want to get this thing ordered and paid for.
Right. That sounds fantastic. So between now and the next board meeting, let's figure out how we can live stream it. And that might not be as easy as we think it is. I do know that other towns have, I think I mentioned the town of Catskill.
Yes.
They just came up with I think it's free to them. I've talked to other people who actually paid for the service. We just don't have extra budget money.
No.
So, but I'm pretty sure the town of Catskill gets it live streamed for free and then goes on public access television as well, or public access radio, one or the other. Either way, that would be great. So let's follow up on that, but for now, the motion, I think you found a great solution. So just make you could make the motion to video record the town board meetings beginning at the next meeting.
I'd like to make a motion that we begin taping town board meetings at the next meeting if we have the equipment and ready to roll.
Second.
Does that resolution include buying that piece of equipment or no?
You don't need it at this cost. It could be.
That's
part
right,
of
we have a
the
procurement
office.
policy, it just
We have a
says-
procurement policy,
Right.
so you don't need a separate resolution. We need the motion to to do the recording, and
Okay.
in the meantime, we can purchase it, as, you know, you'll have to approve the abstract at the next meeting,
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
so.
So then I would like to make that resolution that we begin videotaping the meetings here at,
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Wonderful.
I have a quick question. How are we notifying the individuals that we've designated to be on these various committees? Do we send them a letter or what?
That's a good question. I called around and emailed last time. Do you send a letter? Okay. And, which, thank you, reminded me, the planning board member Joseph?
He was here earlier.
Oh, man. His phone number was like a fax number.
Oh, he gave me a phone number. I don't know if
Oh,
it's a fax
okay.
number, but I have a phone number for him.
Okay, all right. Well, he was the only one I couldn't get in touch with.
Oh, I spoke to him and told him. He came in and
Okay.
I told him he was appointed,
Oh, great.
but he does know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you email me a good phone number for him?
Oh, yeah, I can give it to you after the meeting.
Great, thanks. So we should have a formal letter.
Are they gonna meet the first Wednesday of the month?
They'll have to establish that.
Or they're gonna establish their own meeting time, or?
No, it's established, I think, as part of our organizational meeting. Anyway,
I just wondered if we had to send them out anything to tell
Yeah.
them when the meeting was.
I think so, for the planning board. Anything else on decisions?
Decision.
I've got one more thing. I don't know if this is the appropriate time or
Yeah.
not. But at any rate, I'm concerned with Linda's going to the bank, carrying all this cash. Should we be getting a police escort for her when she's making those kind of deposits, taking from this, the cash from taxes and so forth to deposit for her safety? Can we look at doing that for her own good? I don't think she would have an objection, would you, Linda? If you had a police escort when you're going to the bank to make deposits, large sums of money?
There's times, like right now, all I have is checks to go. That's.
Oh, well, no, it'd be at your
But I mean,
discretion, of
yeah,
course.
Yeah, oh, yeah, when
Yes, that's what I'm
I take a
saying,
large
yeah.
amount in, yeah,
Cash.
I would feel a little bit better, and I know all they have to do, they don't even have to, nobody even has to know there's a police escort, they just follow my vehicle over to the bank,
I just,
and wait for me to walk in the bank, and then they leave.
Do you do that already?
No,
Okay, well, yeah, so just feel comfortable. If you feel like you need a police escort, that's what they're there for.
yes,
okay,
just leave it at your discretion, Mom. I just think it'd be much safer for her.
Great, thank you.
Now that the world knows how much money we have.
It is it's checks, well,
Well,
Probably most of them.
not all,
I don't know, I pay mine in cash, so.
a lot of people do. Okay, any other issues before I reopen it back up?
I understand that there's a lock on the door now.
yes.
Lock
Oh,
them both
I
doors.
didn't
Both
say,
doors.
oh, something else, I forgot all about it. I got a call from Real Property. Real Property sent me a no, I don't know what it is right here. This is for the Board of Assessment Review. This was supposed to have been done back in September. It wasn't done because we hadn't gotten a hold of Vern to find out if he wanted to be here. You said you spoke to Vern, he said he did. We never had a resolution or a motion to appoint him. And I have to, Real Property's waiting for it.
Didn't we do that at the organizational meeting?
No, I don't think we did.
You sure?
I don't know.
I think we did. I think we appointed him for January. We could check, just in case. Do you remember the term? Okay, so we just need, just in case it didn't happen at the organizational.
I can go look in the organizational minutes if you want me to right now.
No, it's all right, we'll just do
So
motion
moved.
to.
Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't,
That's okay.
I didn't think so, but she called me and I said,
No, that's all right, so we're,
and I don't know when the term would end. The term would end probably,
it's the renewal, so whichever one is vacant.
I think it's a 5-year, I'm not sure. But anyway, she'll know
It's, I think it's listed in our, in the
in the thing,
different.
okay.
Yeah.
Sarah?
Right, thank you. Okay, so then also Leanne's request to pre-approve, in the amount of $3,000 an appraisal for the Dutchtown Plaza property. Just a caveat, this may not be necessary, but if she needs to go forward with it, it would be pre-approved. Anybody? Okay, second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
And the amount was 3,000.
$3,000.
Sarah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know we're trying to update all our information and our laws and try to figure out what we have. I did, though, see something very glaring. I went and got a building permit,
Mhm.
and we're 2 supervisors behind on our building permit, and we could probably do, maybe we could update all our, it's still got Brian here, and just if anyone gets it, they're calling the wrong
Right.
people and trying to, you know, although they'll call Jim, he's still on the, he's the top name there, so.
Yes. Good suggestion. Any other decisions before we open it back up? Okay, opening it up to public comment. Michelle?
I got a couple things. First of all, I like to have names said right. It's Village of Nelliston, Virginia Van Squike, and Michael Boslett. Just for when you're addressing these people, they like to be called by the proper name probably. In regards to Madam Supervisor and the article in the Gazette, Mr. Tonko states that you're all about values and speaking to working families and job growth, the dignity of the worker, and the empowerment of our community. I find it very discouraging that you feel it's okay to treat a worker with dignity. How do you say that is treating a worker with dignity when you accuse a parolee of things that could cause him legal problems, and then refusing to pay him for services rendered? And also, as far as empowerment of our community, a very intelligent woman, a very well-respected community member, Janie Diger, who just threw her name right out of there. It didn't even matter that she was interested in serving on the planning board. She happens to be very intelligent. She served on the town board for a number of years, and that bothers me. It's a matter of public knowledge and information just how much the tax levy is, so anybody can look at the tax levy on the county website and see how much taxes are possibly going to be collected by the town clerk throughout the season. So it's not that anybody said anything in public that's not already common public knowledge if you know where to look. I feel that this board is, as a former, apparently ignorant town board member, I feel this board is trying their best, that's funny, is trying their best to undo everything prior boards, not just mine, but other boards, and attorneys have accomplished. That's a sad waste of taxpayer money. And one other thing, continually belittling Betty and Linda is very inappropriate. Thank you.
Neil, I understand what you're trying to do with the filming. Just one other thing that you might want to check on for the Association of Towns. Because of the fact so that the town's not sued, it's okay that Deb is doing her camera here, or when John McGlone comes and does his. But when the town owns it, you have a certain responsibility and liability. And one of the issues is the camera, when it is placed in here, has to be placed as far back as it can go, so that it shows everything. And then you have to have a separate screen showing everybody when they come in who is on that film. So like if you've ever gone into Dollar General, you see their monitors up there letting you know what is being filmed. That has to be done. And I checked it out with the Association of Towns, so you might want to check with them on that to make sure that everything is being abided by the law, so that we don't get sued. And then there has to be a note on, as you come in, stating that this meeting will be filmed, so that everybody knows that they're being filmed. But again, if we don't own the camera, the town doesn't own the camera, if Deb's doing it, it's okay to do it the way she's doing it. Okay, I just wanted to let you know that, okay? And I too am just a little upset to know that people are still commenting on Betty. I think Betty is a very righteous individual who does the best that she can. She's everywhere in this community doing good, and I for one think that she's a wonderful individual.
My name's Gail Lauren. I'm a resident of Nelliston. Have been for a while, probably longer than some of the people on our board. I'm quite confused. I've never really attended many town meetings, but after reading so much in the Courier, I thought maybe it was time I start listening to more of this stuff. I've never in my life seen so much controversy between, and just the rumors that are going around. Okay, the rumors, but I'm hearing how as soon as you guys were nominated, the comment was made, got rid of the old board, now let's get rid of the Logans. As long as Linda and Art have been on, I've never heard people complain about them the way this group is. I can't figure out what, as residents, we have to do to draw everybody together to work for us instead of all the bickering. I'm kind of tired of reading about it in the papers and listening to it here. And every time I hear Linda say something that you don't like, you try to quiet her right down. And we have just as much right to her comments as we have to listen to yours. I hear an awful lot of things denied that I've heard said also out in the public, so apparently the whole public is telling stories. Yeah. But then people who just move into the area and haven't lived here this long seem to think they can just take over and plan everything. Because like she said, now we have intelligence on our board. Is that putting down the last boards, the last people? That's all.
Thank you. Any other comments? Skip and then Paul.
I know there's more modern ways of doing things, but these appointments to the planning board and the board of ethics and those, even though they're not elected, they are appointed and they're important positions. And I believe whoever is put on those boards deserves an official letter of appointment signed by the supervisor and the town clerk.
Paul, we're at Paul.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Paul.
I just got one, I'll try to get up again. I got one comment here. In the minutes of February 24th, item number 11. Can I read it? Paul Daw said the town clerk was in her office after 3 p.m. and had over $650,000 in tax money and with nothing to protect her. I wasn't going to readdress this item. My item was, yes, we can look up and see how much money Linda collects. But I don't think it's anybody's position to stand at this meeting and tell that night 40 people, 39 people, that there's $650,000 in Linda's office and she has nothing to protect her. Yes, we know she has money, but I don't think it should be addressed and told to people because those things get told over and over. I'm gonna leave it at that. And just read your minutes, please.
Thank you. Margaret?
I also think it would behoove the board to write a letter to people applicants who wanted to be on the Board of Ethics and on the Planning Board for their interest in the town. Otherwise, these people may not be interested anymore.
Thank you.
And you'll lose some valuable people if you don't do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret.
It's a matter of
You're right.
etiquette.
I agree with what Paul said and with what Skip said and with what Margaret just said. I'd also like to say how happy I am because it's been a year and a month since I first started asking about videotaping meetings here, and I'm really delighted that we're finally gonna go ahead and do it. Every town I know of does it, no matter how small or how big. And the video streaming I've seen done as well, so if we could do that free, that would be great. Because it would give people the advantage of being able to see everything. As far as what one of the ladies here just said, I don't know why we would be sued. I think it's far more preferable to have a non-man camera, so it's not up to somebody's idea of who they should show and what not show. It just shows everything, and there's no guesswork to it. And I don't understand the premise about it being sued. I don't know why anybody would be sued. And the towns that I've lived in, they haven't shown every single person that walked in the meeting. They showed the meeting as a whole. They showed the people talking and the board. But I don't think they've ever had to show people walking into the meeting and who was present on that level.
Janice? Thank you.
That's not, Sarah, that's not what I said. I'm just trying to make it, I know what the Association of Towns said when we looked into it before.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, it has to be someplace where it's filming everything. Anybody can do it. But if you own it, we have to do it that way. Just check it out just to make sure, okay? I don't want us to be sued over something again, okay? That's all my intention is on that.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I don't believe you've even got a right to record a telephone conversation without the person's knowledge that you're doing it.
That's how.
And this is in the same
Right.
boy.
So by putting that camera up, we're covered, like a monitor, we're covered.
Great. Any other comments? All right, with that, we need the motion to close public comment.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Right? And without any other business, we're ready to adjourn.
Like an hour earlier than that.
Yeah,
We're
the
getting better.
motion though, the motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'll make the motion we adjourn.
Okay,
Okay, I'll second it. I haven't seconded anything on this.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?